All right, hello. My name is Jason. I use he, him pronouns. We are here to play Zombie World. This is session 3 of 4. Zombie World is a card-based PBTA game published by Magpie Games a couple of years ago. This game is part of the Gauntlet online gaming community. We're a bunch of gamers that play online together. We post our videos onto YouTube. Go to the Gauntlet channel, check out our videos, see what our play culture is like. Check us out on the web, Gauntlet-RPG, and see if you'd like to join, maybe. Let's move on. Let's go around the table. We got a fourth player we haven't seen yet, but hopefully she'll be showing up here. But let's meet the other 3 players we have. Matthew's back. So let's start with you, Matthew. Tell us about yourself, your pronouns. Remind us about your character and their pronouns and what they're about.
All right. My name is Matthew. I go by he, him pronouns. Today I'm playing Malcolm Wong, a fellow convict at the St. John's prison. Is that right? St. John's the name? And the St. John's Supermax. He was doing time there when when Patient Zero died and was reborn. In the ensuing chaos, he has assumed leadership of a small but not insignificant, group of convicts and survivors to ensure that they make the best use of the prison as a bastion against the growing zombie hordes.
All right, thank you. Let's see, going around our virtual table, next would be Will.
Hi, I'm Will, pronouns he, him, as are those of Tyler Morgan, who is the healer. He has saved his ally Demarcus Nation's life. Tyler was like an office worker who was visiting the prison as part of like a systems thing when Z-Day hit, and it all went to hell. And he is the estranged husband of our next player.
All right, and Brandon.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm playing Sarah Morgan, who is as the estranged wife, and who was a clerical officer in a military base nearby, which initially was safe but was later overrun by zombies, and she fled with a few followers here to the prison. Her experiences at the base have hardened her in some ways and changed who she is, and that has come out in somewhat in violence and in anger towards anyone or anything that might be a threat to the survivors herein.
Okay. Let us go over our resources just so everybody remembers we have these. So right now you see, of course, the page with all your stats, and we'll be looking at that most of the day. But we also have a map that I made up we used last session. And we'll get back to that here in a moment when we kind of get into the action. We also have a larger sort of area map with sort of some of our places that we've established. And then there's a page that I wrote up mostly just for help me organize my brain, but could be useful, a list of all of our different folks. Last session, a couple of our guards were killed, so I have them crossed out. But let me get back to the stat page. Okay, so let's start by actually let's go to the map and put everybody's kind of where they're at. So you guys are all either in or around this. I'm painting it here. This let me try to cell block B. This is sort of your home base. You've cleared it out of zombies. It's multiple layers of cells And at the top, there's a level which was like a secure level that the guards would use, like maybe like a security room, a guard room kind of thing. And it has an access from that high up security area out onto the catwalk that allowed the guards to sort of move around this whole cell block area without having to interact with or be exposed to the prisoners. Um, where we ended was with Emilio and Sarah were down on the ground level and sort of had just come in from this operation that you guys had run to save Emilio from the watchtower. So you guys are down there, and Will's character Tyler had gone to go upstairs to presumably to talk to Malcolm or check on him, and Leo had stopped you and said no access, and you had turned away, and then you had gone outside, and I think you said you moved around so you wouldn't be seen by the tower. So I'm kind of picturing you kind of about here, Will, maybe back here somewhere, because you had seen in the northern distance, up this way, you had seen this wall of fiery fog, and we'll get back to that in a moment. But where we're going to start is with Malcolm. So Malcolm, you and your sons have taken over the top level of the cells, and you have maybe like the corner cell, the nice corner cell, and you're waking up, and we just sort of made up that you had been sick. You had a 24-hour illness of some sort, and you're waking up. And the way you're lying, you look right out your barred window, and you see to the north. You see that there's a wall of fog in the distance, but this fog has like laced throughout it black of like smoke and red and orange of fire. It's like the whole sky is on fire, but mixed with fog. It's very strange. You've never seen anything like this. I described it last time as otherworldly. So gain a point of stress. So go ahead and fill in one of your little stress boxes.
All right, filling in that stress box.
And Leo is at your door. You're kind of like groggy for a moment, but this kind of brings, shocks you to awareness, I'm sure. And you see that Leo is at your doorway, and that heavy cell door is trying to slide shut. The hydraulics, the machinery is trying to shut this door, but Leo is leaning against it. This slight, we described him as last time. Tell me if this is not your vision of Leo, but we described him as sort of a smaller, slight kind of guy, a skinny kind of guy. And he's like putting all of his energy into trying to keep this door open. And these hydraulics want to close this door. And he's like, come on, boss, hurry, get out of here. I can't hold this for long. If you don't get out of the cell, you're going to be trapped in there.
I immediately, I trust Lee enough to immediately follow, to sort of like walk straight past to where he wants me to go, and I go, what is it? What's going on?
Okay, you're gonna have to move fast. Avoid. We're gonna get right into the cards here. So let me shuffle them up, and we're gonna have you do a draw called basic move called Avert Disaster. And this one is you're trying to avert being trapped in your cell, and you're going to draw with your survival.
Draw with survival. All right.
Yeah.
On a triumph, on an edge. Okay, yeah. All right.
You have 2 survival, so you're going to draw 2 survivor cards. Do you remember how to draw the cards, Matthew?
I believe so. Let me know if I just did this right. Draw 2 cards.
Oh, that puts in your hand. You can do. Go ahead and go down to your hand where it says Matthew, and you can pull those out on the table.
All right.
And
I see it, the survivor deck, and I'm putting it.
Open up your hand by clicking on it, and then pull them up on the table. So you got a miss and an opportunity. Okay. In the future, Matthew, just so we get this, so when you do cards, all you have to do is you hover your mouse over the deck, over the top part of the deck, and like it'll show one of the cards kind of sliding up, and then you can just left click and hold your left mouse button down and drag it onto the table. So here
I see the tooltip.
Yeah, so I just dragged that edge onto the table.
Yeah.
But you got an opportunity. So an opportunity is a miss unless you want to spend a stress, and then you can turn it into a triumph.
Definitely spending that stress.
Okay. So
All
you
right.
should be at 2 stress now. So those little stress boxes down there, fill in 2 of them. You
Yep.
got one for seeing the crazy fog, and another
And
one
one
for
other
this
one.
result.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, you quickly pull yourself together, grab whatever your regular weapon or whatever might be, jump out of there, and there you are with Leo in the hallway, and the door slams shut. Leo gets out of the way, and that door slams shut, and you see the lights are on inside the cell block, which is weird. I mean, sometimes the guards, if you would exchange food or something with them, they would give you a couple hours of electricity. So apparently the lights are all on, and apparently the cells are all been locked down. And Leo says, Bryn's gone nuts, killing people. Looks like he's trapped us inside here.
Everyone knows that man wasn't. Everyone knows that man wasn't cracking. He was already cracked. And I tried to head over to the chaos with Leo in tow, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's a shot of you like looking over the edge. So it's sort of like an atrium or an open area in the middle. So you kind of look
Yeah.
over this ledge and you can see down below your sons and Sarah's people are all down below. Let's kind of like follow the camera down to there. Sarah, you're there with your people, and like I said, the sons. The doors have all slammed shut. The lights are on. What do you think your reaction would be?
And that was a pre-credits establishing shot.
Yeah.
Bryn's making his move. We better get ready.
Right.
There's, I think Tyler comes, back in to see all this, like the milling.
There's a problem with that. Yeah, let me jump to that. Brandon, can you move your mic away from your mouth a little bit? You're picking up a lot of your breath. There you go. So like Tyler, you were outside. So what you saw, of course, you saw that big wall of fiery fog, but you heard, that the power came on and all of the doors slammed shut, to cell block B, and in addition, all of like there's this sort of like I've described it before. I found a picture. It kind of captures what I'm trying to describe. There's the area between the cell blocks is all sort of this maze of fences, different like passageways and stuff through these fences. So those all slam shut too. So you're kind of like, I imagine you outside of that. You're like in the grassy area outside of this maze of fences. So you're sort of, at least right now, it looks like unless you can get those doors open, I don't think you can get back in unless you figure something out.
Okay.
So what do you think you do?
I climb onto the top of the fences.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the cages,
Right.
Because normally you wouldn't be able to do that because you get shot by someone.
Right.
There's no one here, right? So
Tyler's been caught outside. We're going to try to find the shortest route to let him in.
Well, I mean, how do we resolve this, generally speaking? Because it's a big automated. We're back in the command room, aren't we? I guess so. I guess my problem is that I'm just seeing that we're in a prison, where we're actually in a prison.
Mm-hmm.
And
what
to do?
But like prisoners, we're not in our cells and we have crowbars.
Yeah. I guess I'll just wait for you guys to sort it out, because I mean, there's nothing I can really do by myself to get
we have to be able to
things sorted.
To break one of these doors.
And Sarah, your ally, what's her name again? Robin.
Robin.
Yes. She comes up to you. She's got a big smile on her face, and she's got her cutting tools, her welding and cutting tools, and she says, "Well, it's time for me to get to work again."
Yep, that's right. Yeah, we'll need to break one of the outside doors. Tyler,
you want me to do this main one right here on the ground?
Yeah, and I say Tyler, get over here, and then there's like no response,
Right.
and it's like
But instead,
outside.
here comes Matthew, Malcolm, and Leo come walking down, the stairs instead. All your sons see you, and who's like, what would you, Matthew? What's the name of like the biggest, meanest, toughest of your sons?
The biggest, toughest, meanest one is Daniel.
Daniel. Okay. So Daniel comes up to you, he gives you a big slap on the back. He says, "How you feeling, boss?"
Disease is merely a means of testing the body's resolve. At the end of it all, it is merely just a symptom of the will to survive.
And he pulls out, like, he's got like a bottle of whiskey that he's been hoarding, and he says, "There, take a swig of this. This will cure what's ill in you."
Um, I take the shot, and then finish it and hand the shot glass back to Daniel.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
And you see Sarah's there, and her ally, some woman, you never caught her name. She's pulling out like a welding cutting tools, starting to get to work on this outer door, this main door that goes out into that maze of fences that we talked about.
Sorry, who's using the cutting tool?
Some ally of Sarah's. You probably don't know her name, but we know it's Robin is her name.
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but yeah. I try to assess a bad situation.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do a draw and see how that works. So that uses steel, I believe, right?
Steel. Yeah.
All right, so go ahead and draw. What do you got for steel? You got 2.
Yeah. Two survivor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always survivor, unless I say there's a chance of you getting bit, and then you'd have to draw a bite card.
Oops. I click to draw.
Yeah, sometimes when you draw it, it sticks right on top of the deck.
Yeah.
You want to kind of like left mouse, hold down, and then drag it onto the table.
All right. An edge and a miss.
Edge and a miss. Okay. So on an edge, you get to ask one question. You can ask a question from the Assess a Bad Situation list, or if there's just something you want to ask that makes sense, you can go just make something up. And regardless, whatever you find out, when you act on the answer, you get a +1 forward.
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember your +1 forwards.
Should we move back to the main?
Yeah, where am I at now? Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, if you click on basic moves, you probably were looking at it anyways. So yeah, what question do you want to ask, Matthew?
I think I'll ask what here is most useful to my allies.
Okay. You notice that the in addition to the with the power being on, the cameras are on, and you see the cameras moving about, looking at each of you, following you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You're being observed.
I ask Leo. Oh wait, no, Leo wouldn't know that. I asked Daniel, do you remember, son, which one of the to where these cameras are routed?
He says, it must be that bitch up at the top of the tower. I bet Bryn's watching us. And he means the main watchtower, going back to our map. We had a bit of an adventure there last session, but what we're talking about is this building number 9 on our map, Matthew. So that's kind of where the catwalk out goes into. That's where the guards have been holed up these last few weeks since Z-Day. And at the top, there's a sort of a command center, and presumably that's probably where the camera controls would be.
So right now, where are Bryn's people at right now in terms of like their attempt to instigate chaos in the prison?
Last you knew, they were up in that tower.
Okay.
What happened is Leo says, "Yeah, we raided that tower. We broke in. I killed one of those dicks, and we pulled Emilio out of there. The warden got eaten by a zombie, and these guys wanted to leave. But I thought maybe it'd be better to go up and kill Bryn while we're there. But they wanted to get out of there while the coast was clear. I guess." Kind of gives Sarah a look when he says that.
Mm-mm. So I'm thinking maybe out of character. I'm thinking maybe we can obscure those cameras and then figure out an approach to take down Bryn.
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming he is like barring any imminent leaks in the prison for zombies pouring in. Bryn is basically gonna fuck us all up, isn't he?
Leo says, "Yeah, it kind of looks like that way."
All right. So Malcolm asks the rest of his sons to start finding ways to obscure the cameras, and then I guess who am I closest of the players actually? Am I particularly close with any of the players yet?
Well, you and Sarah kind of had this alliance that kind of came out of Sarah
That's right.
smashing those refugees in the face, or
Mm.
one of them in the face.
Mm-mm.
So it's in its early stages, but that's kind of the direction that was going. It's only the next day, so it's only a day later from that moment when Sarah sent those refugees running.
All right. So while the sons, I mean, assuming I don't have to roll or do
Malcolm, what are you doing? It's not it's not like this is happening at a hidden place, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Right.
no, and I approach Sarah and I say, "It's
you're up. That's good.
it's good. It's good that you have survived another day here at the Supermax. Now, it's clear that it's clear that. Sorry,
we had to break Emilio out. 2 guards and the warden are dead.
That's good. That's good. Let's, and I basically tell Sarah my plan to, my interest in taking down Bryn from the tower.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. We just didn't want to do it I didn't want to do it from the seat of our pants.
Mm-mm.
Half cocked when we didn't know how many guards there were, how well armed they were, and what the hell situation we were getting into. We might have just been cut down. Hey, there's a long pole that they use to operate some of the big windows over there in the corner. You could knock down some of the cameras with that.
All right. So, I guess I turn to the nearest son and I go like, you heard Morgan, and direct him to get the pole and start taking out those cameras.
Yeah, okay. We're making a door over here to get Tyler back in, and also so we're not just fucking trapped.
Okay. So the cameras are designed, of course, so that the prisoners can't get at them very easily. But what Sarah suggested sounds like a possible route to find a way, and having your sons get to work on it sounds like a reasonable idea. But I will have you make a draw. So let's do NPC allies. When you direct your allies to take action. Although you have, let me go back to your card, Matthew, because I have. There's a move for you using your sons.
It is Tyrant, I believe.
Yeah.
You lead a gang of survivors, 4 allies who back your control of the colony. When you give the group orders, you draw Savagery. On a Triumph, you basically get the whole list, and on an Edge, you pick one of them.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get that move on the table. I always like to do new moves.
Yeah.
So let me make sure I've recalled and shuffled.
All right.
And you're going to draw Savagery, which is your good stat. So you got 3 cards you're going to draw here. Let's see what you get.
All right, let's do it. 1, 2, and 3. So that is
Edge. So you get one of your lists then.
Yeah. All right. When you get the group orders,
where you pick one and then the other 2, it's reversed. So you don't have to hurt them. So if you don't choose that one, you're going to have to hurt them to get them to do what you want, basically. Same with the bribing one.
The thing is, what do I have to bribe them with?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'll go with I don't have to bribe them, and
Okay.
so um, they might not follow my instructions precisely, and I might have to hurt them. Is what's going to happen? Am I right?
Yeah. So
All right.
just kind of show us how you're hurting one of them using your savagery, uh, your tyrannical savagery to get them to do what you want.
Yeah. So, when they, I have stress too right now. So what I'm going to say, like from a fiction perspective, is that when I ask, let's say, I'm trying to come up with a name for the third ally. Sorry, the second ally. So we have Leo, we have Daniel. I'd say we'll have um Wei. Yeah, well, let's go with the second guy being Wei. When I ask them to do the thing, I see Wei sort of dilly dally because he's always been like the insouciant, temperamental one of the bunch, and Malcolm sort of like, you know, snaps at him and says, and throws him, like sort of like presses him against the wall and beats him and says like, I was asking, not, I wasn't asking, I was telling, and then looks around at everybody else while he's doing that and says, why are you all standing about? Get to work.
Right. And they all like, okay, yeah. And they start grabbing things, and Sarah directed one of them towards this long pole for opening windows or whatever, and they go off to start to get to work. Sarah, so you've had Robin doing some stuff, so I think that is worth a draw. So that's let's see, this move's called where is that? I always forget where that one is. Having your ally do something. I think it's on your. Is it on your card? Yeah, NPC allies. When you direct your allies to take action. I think that's actually.
I
And
may
these
also
little.
have to pay them, so I guess
Oh
maybe.
yeah, that's right. You have to. I think you chose not to have to bribe them, right?
Oh yeah. Sorry, then I had to
Yeah,
hurt them,
yeah.
and they do it imprecisely. That's right. Yeah.
So there's a game master playmat, or yeah, game master playmat has this move on it, or you can see it actually on your character card. There's one called NPC Allies, Brandon. When you direct your allies to take action, draw 2 cards from the survivor deck.
Mm-hmm.
If the action is in line with the ally skills, draw +1. If the ally has equipment or useful materials, draw +1. So I think both those apply to you, right?
Yep.
This is kind of in her ballpark.
This is totally.
So you are going to draw 4 cards. Let me recall and shuffle.
Oh,
And let's see how Robin. Hold on, don't draw yet. Let me recall and shuffle. Recall, shuffle. All right, go ahead. 4 cards.
okay, here we go. Come on, Robin.
Here we go. Yo. All right.
That's a little trouble with the door, she says.
Yeah.
But goddamn reinforced steel. But it turns out the hinge mechanism isn't as reinforced as the lock is.
Right. So she's cutting away, and we hear. I'm picturing. Malcolm's there anticipating, this door opening, and your allies have started to move around throughout the building, and they're taking like their bats or like poles or pipes or whatever, they can find. And instead of like covering the cameras, they're just bashing these cameras. They're just, smashing them as best as they can.
Yeah.
As the Suns do. But the door, she gets the final cut, over like maybe the bolt that automatically closes off the security door. She uses this cutter and cuts right through it, and the door sort of it loses that pressure, and it sort of slides open a little bit.
Yeah, I have her step. I yell at her to step back.
Right.
Before the door opens, and I'm covering the entrance with a shotgun.
Okay. Tyler, so you have been outside, and what you have seen is that the doors of the, let me take you back to the map. The doors to the nearby cell blocks that are, they're all connected together through this maze of fences, but those main doors have opened up. They just, automatically open up, and zombies start to shuffle out of the nearby cell blocks into this maze of fences. And as they move out, you too see these cameras kind of following them, watching them, and down, as they shuffle out, and of course, as zombies, they're aimless. They don't see any, meat to eat, so they're just kind of like moving aimlessly. But this, like the little a light sort of goes off down the fence, down the tunnel, and they see that light, and it starts. Maybe a little bit of a siren goes off, and they start to move in that direction. And then when they get
gates in between the, so there are a series of gates, right? I can see where this is coming. So Tyler would like to go and basically try and jam one of the mechanisms, so that they don't, they're stopped before they can pour into the thing.
You're sort of outside the fences. So the first thing you're going to need to do to be able to do any of that is to get inside the maze of fences. How might you do that? You did mention last time.
I kind of would like the script change a bit, if it's okay, Jason. Sure, just because I feel as though I've been sort of like put somewhere where I can't really interact with much of the fiction. I'm kind of like, I'm outside of it, and I can't do anything. And to do anything, I then have to go around the whole prison to get there. So is there a way I could be perhaps in between, because I came out of the cell, out of the prison itself, but I didn't, I just came to look outside, kind of thing.
Sure.
So if perhaps I am just in that space between the gates and the fence, or, however that would make sense. Does that work?
You want to be within the maze of fences when it's shut down or something?
Yeah, I just don't want to be like out of actually doing, because PBTA is not a game that really lends itself to sort of tracking between each thing, know?
Yeah, I agree. That sounds good. So, so you're in there, so you're going to try to, how would you go about doing that?
Well, I think, so they are, obviously they're locking the mechanism stuff, and it's powered by electricity, right? But I imagine if you were to jam something between the, the mechanism itself, like where the gate actually moves, if you just pry something in between, like even if the electronic lock releases, the zombies would be stopped, or at the very least slowed down by the gate not fully opening.
Okay. So you want to try to stop one of these gates from opening that would allow the zombies to move closer to cell block B.
Yeah, effectively cut the route off to cell block B. Because I think I can see them, like that door opens, they go through, and then like one of those red lights and the thing clears, right? And it's like you can see that whoever controls it is kind of like shuffling them forward, like gate by gate by gate by gate.
Exactly.
And I can only get to the one in front of me, of course, because I'm also stuck behind gate by gate. So yeah.
I think this would be a move we haven't seen yet, which is nice to get on the table. Barricade a place. This is a zombie move. It's the very last one.
Yeah, that is nice.
When you barricade a place against the zombies, draw survival. And let me make sure we're recalled and shuffled. All right, Will, when you are ready, go ahead and draw on survival.
But that's from the bite deck, right?
No, you don't draw from the bite deck. That's only when there's a chance of getting bit. This is you still use the survival deck even on zombie moves to decide to figure out what happens.
Yeah. A triumph?
Well, that's
an edge.
That's all you need is that triumph. Once you get that triumph,
there's no point in going any further. Yeah.
All right, that works perfectly. So the zombies do shuffle. Some a good swarm of zombies swarms into this sort of maze, but you're able to find a choke point, and using, I don't know, maybe you rip off a pipe or something.
Well, I had like a metal pipe, and I think what I do is I take off my belt as well. And like I jam the pipe in to like right into the sort of like where the wheels will turn, and then I take my belt and I like tie like two ends of it together, so that like the locks might release, right? But like it won't. The sensors are probably a bit messed up by the fact that it's not moving initially, kind of stuff,
And of course, you do it just in time. The zombies start reaching through the fence, trying to get at you. Cold, empty eyes.
And
And
I'm now like stuck in between the area of prison of Thingy B, cell block B, and the wider gates, right? And I can see zombies behind me and locked door behind, and I can hear noises within, but hopefully they'll get out soon.
Right.
And the whole time, of course, I can see this fiery mist.
Right.
Yeah, don't look at it.
Yeah, that brings us back to those guys now. So the door opens, and you see, maybe not too far away, Tyler in this confused maze of fencing has, these zombies trapped, coming from the nearby cell blocks. But what really draws your attention is, again, that Malcolm's already seen it, but Sarah, now you see it. This fiery fog bank, a couple miles to the north, and you too gain a point of stress at seeing this.
Okay. You'll need to put me back on the main thing so I can.
Okay. All right. So at least for the moment, everything's safe.
Tyler.
Yeah. Look, I Brent's got control of the gates. And the fences.
We figured out. He locked down the whole.
Yeah, but look,
Fuck me. He opened up the other blocks. Son of a bitch.
We gotta. I don't know. We gotta go cut through the back fence. Go around.
Or over.
That sniper.
Yeah, the catwalks have some protection.
You do look up there and you don't see that sniper up there. By the way, it's about mid-afternoon, maybe like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and there's some soft snow falling. Matthew, we established that it's autumn here in Colorado, but you're pretty high elevation, so it's pretty cold.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine like brisk but like nice days sometimes, but like
it's probably cold. Like a little bit of, when it's sunny, it's probably pleasant, but when there's not much sun, like right now, the chill starts to set in pretty quickly.
I see.
If Tyler can get to where we are, I yell at him.
Yeah, well, I mean,
we're in here while we figure out what to do.
Probably as I back away from the zombies, right, and it shows that wall, then the next shot is of just like me being grabbed from behind. Completely oblivious to the door.
In there. It's like, get your ass in here.
Right.
Yeah. Malcolm, you're up. Good.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, we got a plan, and we got to do it quick. What the fuck is that thing to the north?
Listen, Brent's got people outside and people in here.
I think we should take care of what's in here first before we worry about what's outside. If we lose control of the situation inside, then it's going to make everything else harder.
Listen, if they're coming? This guy had a lot of people before, right? Like Brent was a big deal, and they put him all the way up here because it was the middle of nowhere. And they wouldn't find him, but they know where he had people on the inside. They've known that he's been here this whole time, and now they're coming. So we gotta make sure we keep him alive, hostage. We can get rid of. We don't have to kill everyone, but we need to keep Brent alive so that we can bargain with whatever's coming. We can, they won't come if we're going to kill their precious leader, right?
I suppose you make a compelling point.
You've seen these people?
And that's when I reach into my bag and I pull out my FBI credentials. And I say, I was sent here to make contact with one of our guys who said that Bryn had his people in the ward. It was maybe the warden, we didn't know. I was supposed to just work here for a few days, hit the lay of the land, and then get Brent out of here and move him somewhere else. And then everything went to shit. And I point out at one of the zombies, and that's my contact.
Is that triggering your pass? Showing your
Yes,
pass?
it is. Show my pass card.
Okay.
I'd like to say I'm disappointed that the FBI didn't send anyone for me, but I suppose.
Oh, I know all about you, Mr. Wang.
Yeah, you have a problem with that, Malcolm?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
That was
Go ahead and read that for us, Will. Tell us about federal agent.
Federal agent, to reveal this card, assert your government-mandated authority over a group, which I feel like I'm kind of doing in a way that would make sense in our fiction, you know?
Sure.
You know, and I'll even go one step further, and I'll say, look, Bryn, I don't know what's left of the office. I don't know what's left of the bureau. But what we knew is that Bryn, he was prepared for something like this, right? So maybe he's got a better place to hold up than this prison.
Yeah, maybe. But you're right. If his followers are coming, we got to keep them alive. But we can kill the rest of the motherfuckers.
And he looks at Sarah like, what happened to you?
I'm sure Sarah's asking herself the same thing, too.
I think, Tyler, I think maybe you might know some more about Bryn. I think how we'll cover what you might know is with a assess a bad situation draw. How's that sound?
That sounds good to me. So, assess a bad situation
But to
is
finish off the card, just so I remember, while revealed, when you get in someone's face, they must make an additional they must mark an additional stress if they escalate the situation. Okay. So you're tough to escalate against.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at it, and it's not a particularly powerful past thing, apart from very specific situations. I'm not sure how it works with NPCs and getting in the face and stress, you know? Like, what would an additional stress mean?
Yeah, they take stress. With NPCs, they don't have as much stress that they can take before they lose it. So taking stress for an NPC is real catastrophic.
Okay.
Yeah, they will frequently try to avoid it, right?
And if they do get stressed, they'll lose it pretty bad, pretty quick.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead. I've recalled and shuffled. When you are ready, go ahead and draw on steel.
A triumph.
Well, all right then. Go ahead and take a look at those questions, or just ask me two things that you think would be appropriate, or you can just have me tell you two interesting and useful tidbits.
You just tell me the two useful tidbits.
Sure. Okay, so you know that Bryn had a compound in, let's say, Wyoming, and he and his followers were doing some. The FBI had them under surveillance because they knew something was up. And one day, you know, one of the first documented zombie attacks was right there. His followers came wandering out of this compound and attacked the nearby town, killing quite a few people, had an outbreak, which the special forces were able to the FBI and the special forces were able to shut down and contain and keep secret. You know, this is only but then, you know, as they took Bryn into custody and started to try to figure out what the hell is going on, other reports came in over the radio that there were outbreaks all over the place, all over the world, you know, like, the day after or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I was imagining this has been like within my first 24 hours at the prison, right? Like, and I had all of that like delivered over like a very tense phone call in the car kind of thing by someone who's like, and you know, like, stay quiet, like, don't blow your cover, we're coming for you. And then it's been weeks since then.
Yeah, and you dumped Bryn off at this Supermax, which was, you know, the closest, most secure facility that you could get him to. You went on to, you know, try to investigate some things, but you know, maybe you had to come back to the prison because you knew Bryn had some key component to this whole thing. So I think that's number one. And then number two, let's see. you weren't. I don't picture you being at the site yourself, maybe, but from the records and pictures you saw, there's that Bryn and his people it was some sort of, they had beliefs in some sort of apocalyptic blood magic that, and you would scoff at it as a bunch of crazies if what has happened since hadn't happened, but now you take it a little more serious, that apparently fresh blood, getting and using fresh blood is used in this ritual, something about bringing on the end and cleansing the world
I'm
true believers.
imagining Bryn was this, like Theranos type thing. The big scam of like you can test everything through blood, and this was like blood can cure, blood will change the world, blood,
Right,
all of this new, Brintech kind of thing.
Fucking
right,
love
right,
it.
right.
Fucking love
Yeah,
it.
Well, and that tallies with what Emilio told us.
Yeah,
Remember that Bryn had, caught him and put him in a cell to basically to use his blood for something.
yeah.
yeah,
I think that what Tyler would, convey to the group is that what he knows is that like Bryn's people, in that first like 24 hours, we knew that he was connected to all of this, but it all went to shit before we could get a hold of any of it. I was told to wait here, but no one. I don't know if anyone's coming, other
hmm,
than his people.
right,
They believe in all kinds of fucked up stuff, but
right.
like his whole thing was that blood testing and that genetic modification, like building a better blood for the future, or what all that crap, right? The whole thing
Please tell me.
was smoke and mirrors. We thought, it was all just some scam. Uh, and then people started dying, and then everything started dying and getting back up again, right? So, yeah, we need to keep him alive.
So I imagine,
Please
in
tell.
our TV show, that this whole revelations that Tyler has shared with you were shown through some flashbacks, and we come back to the present to a scream. There's a blood curdling scream from the top of this watchtower. You hear? I imagine you've all kind of gone back into the cell block, but the door is wide open now because it's been cut open. So you hear this
Where
scream.
Yeah, the door's open, but it's blocked. We're gonna,
where's the
From the
scream coming
watchtower.
from again? From Watchtower.
upstairs.
Yeah, from up the top of the watchtower, you hear this scream that echoes over the yard.
And that's number 9, isn't it? On the that's the
Yeah,
command tower as
yeah,
well.
yeah, from the command tower. I'm picturing about 40 feet high or so.
Yeah.
Pretty big though. It's a broad sort of circular tower, about 40 feet high.
Let's get up, run up to the top of the block guard post up there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Brandon's coming in a little weak. I can barely understand him.
Run up to the top of the guard post.
Okay.
Wow, that was quite quickly.
What's that? Is that Jimmy?
Yeah, that was.
Okay, so let's take a break. You guys think about what's coming next, and we got some stuff on the table that's very interesting. And let's take 5 minutes. Good, or you guys want 10? What do you need? 5. All right. See you in 5.
Thanks for letting me change my position, Jason. I was just had that pass card, and I was like, "There's nothing I can do with it."
Yeah.
In those situations, I wanted to get back to the group as soon as possible because I didn't want to let any opportunity to reveal that go away.
Yeah, I think it was a good point. Like this game works best when you jump from one action to another. Like having you fumbling around trying to like get into the scene would have been kind of boring. So yeah, that's a good call. I was thinking too, you said about Noah's Ark. There was another one. I don't think I mentioned this when we played Alien. Brandon, Will and a couple other folks, we played a series of Alien, the role playing game, a couple months ago. But anyways, there was you remember the druggy guy in our game, Will?
Billy.
Yeah, Billy. And I was like, I want it to be Dennis Hopper. So I was like, okay, I want a young Dennis Hopper and I want an older Dennis Hopper. So I was like, okay, I want, older Dennis Hopper from Apocalypse Now. Okay, that's good. And the younger one, I want it from that like biker movie. And I couldn't
Easy
remember
Rider.
the name of, yeah, I couldn't remember the name of the biker movie. So I was like, I typed into Google like young Dennis Hopper, and I found that picture. I'm like, perfect, great. And then I was like, well, what's this guy's name? I'll call him Billy. I'll call him Billy Ryder. And then I realized the movie's called Easy Rider.
Easy Rider, yeah.
And
that
I
is
think
good.
his character's name is named Billy, I think.
Oh wow.
I had no consciousness of that at all.
That is pretty. I do like it when things synchronize like that.
Mm-hmm. Billy
So
Ryder.
Obviously Sarah's known my past since character creation.
Yeah.
As federal agent, and I had lots of questions about whether or not I would be ratted out somehow, or whether who I was here to investigate or what I was here to do. Right? Like.
Yeah, I wonder what the Suns think of you being an FBI agent. They might not be so favorable.
Yeah.
These are all federal prisoners, high-level bad people. So I'm sure they've had engagement with the FBI on more than one occasion.
Oh yeah, and I think I have, at least like sketchy backgrounds on pretty much everybody here, because it was like
not like anything bad can happen.
No, no. In fact, the biggest mystery to me is probably Sarah.
Yes, there's this whole unsaid thing right now.
Mm-hmm. As it always was.
You guys know each of your traumas. You learned that last time, didn't you?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know how I got there.
Okay.
Which is a critical thing. It's like, how did that happen?
Although I think Sarah's also revealed her trauma, hasn't she?
Yes, I have revealed it.
Yeah, the past is still hidden, though. Yeah.
It's pretty. The traumas became blatantly obvious at one point.
All right. Well, we should get Matthew here in a moment. Let's get back. So let's see. What did we say? So yeah, there's this scream. Comes this blood-curdling, cut short scream from the top of this tower that echoes across the.
This is from the distant tower.
Yeah, this is from the tower. So yeah, Anyways, what do you guys do next? So the zombies have been contained, at least for now. The door is cut open. Tyler has just shared this revelation about Bryn and his own personal past and whatnot. Sarah, what do you think you do? Hearing your husband talk about this situation you're in.
Come on, let's get a look.
Yeah, you were pressing to like go up there now. Is that what you're thinking?
To the top of our block.
To the top of your block. Okay.
Yeah, so we can see what's going on. I'm not going out. Yeah, I'm not going out where the fucking zombies are.
Yeah, so obviously to Sarah, Tyler being an FBI agent, the reason why he's here and all this is a surprise, is news to her. But him being an FBI agent is something that she's.
You reveal the fact that you're an FBI agent, Sarah grinds your teeth.
Yes, yeah. So I'm imagining Sarah is like, immediately like says, "Come on and let's go," and goes up to the catwalk, right? I also don't want Malcolm's thugs to start thinking too much about Tyler's revelation. So I grab Tyler by the arm and hustle him up to the top of our block so we can get a look. Yeah, and I'll I just look at Malcolm as I'm being pulled away, and I'm like, Malcolm, are you with us?
Or are you holding the fort down here?
I'm holding the fort down here. Make sure nothing gets through. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's good because I was going to say, Daniel, the biggest, toughest, meanest of your sons, he comes up and he says, that guy's a Fed. He's a goddamn FBI motherfucker. Just give me the word. I want to shank him.
I tell Daniel in uncertain terms, like, until I say otherwise, the federal man is not to be touched.
Okay. Let's see. Let's do this as let's do this as calm an NPC down. I'm not going to say it's your whole gang. So let's see if you can calm down Daniel. He's got a shank in his hand, ready to go. Now some sort of piece of metal wrapped with a cloth of some sort. And let's do calm an NPC down. So let me make sure I recall and shuffle.
Drawing steel.
Drawing steel, yep. What is your steel? 2?
Yep. Let me know. Give me the word when I draw.
Go ahead.
All right. Drawing. Oops. 1. Ooh, here we go.
First miss of the day. We had tons of misses last session.
Boy, did we ever.
Okay. Let me just take a look at this. He says, okay, I know what happens. So he looks like he's going to defy you. He's going to try to push past you and go for him. Maybe he has a especially difficult pass with the FBI. But actually, Leo steps in the way, and Leo, he gives him this smile. He looks at Daniel, who's probably like a foot taller than him, and he says, he just kind of gives him a smile, and he says, "No, not now, Daniel." And he backs down. Daniel gets sort of a sheepish look, and he looks, he can't hold eyes with Leo, and he backs down. So yeah, he calms down, but you lose some face here.
Yeah.
Somebody's making a move.
And I think mechanical terms, I think at this point, at least for now, Leo is not considered an ally. He moves down to being neutral. Okay, so you won't have as much ability to kind of get him to do what you want him to do.
All right.
Meanwhile, you've gone upstairs, Sarah and Tyler, and you're looking out one of these barred windows looking across. You tell me if you want to push it and go ahead and do like an assess a bad situation, but I'll tell you, from what you see there's lights on at the top of the watchtower, which is it's probably about the same level, same elevation as where you're at right now, across this yard. And you see shadows moving around in there. You can't really tell unless, like I say, you want to push it and do a draw. That's about all you can see from where you're at from here. I mean, again, you see that fiery fog in the distance, but.
Sarah, you're muted. But I imagine there's Sarah's group, like, of people, and does, right, as part of this group that's leaving off. We're probably like crouched down around the catwalks, peering out at the thing, and we don't see anyone immediately. I guess Sarah, I imagine as well, right? Like, even though it makes no sense to have taken place this quickly, Tyler is pulling out from that bag his FBI bulletproof vest. Can I get away with that? Yeah. No, okay. I'll settle for a gun. Yeah. I'll settle for a gun and a badge.
Okay, a gun and a badge. Yeah, that'll be good.
That badge is the only protection you need.
Oh yeah, certainly what they told me.
But yeah, you pull out your 9mm, cock it, whatnot.
Yeah. It feels as though Sarah's quite a decisive and action-based character, right, Sarah?
She is now.
Yeah. Would you be?
Sure.
It feels as though you're almost going to be like dashing. Like when we get up to the catwalk and you don't immediately see anyone there, you'd be like going for it, right? Like now's the time to go. Like
We got to
you
get
got
a
to move.
look.
Well, because I was going to reveal a card. Basically, if you went off, I could reveal a card to.
Let me establish the setting a little bit. So you guys have moved up to the top level of the cells. And then there's sort of another level. Maybe there's like a ladder that you go up that would lead up into the security area. And that is locked down. So you would have to open that up somehow to get out into there. And then you could get out into the catwalk if that's what your plan is. So there is one more barrier to go from where you're at out onto the catwalk. You'd have to, whether it would be Robin doing her thing again or whatnot. But there's another layer of protection.
I mean, that seems like the natural plan, right? We've got someone who can cut through this stuff. So
yeah. Well, we need to get access to the catwalk. The yard is hell right now.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. So let's go ahead and do a draw. We'll do that NPC allies move again. So Brandon, once again, draw 4 cards. Can't go wrong. Yeah, I think we're all ready to go.
That's a miss.
There's an edge, so that's not bad.
And a miss. And an edge. So we have an edge.
Okay. On an edge, you do succeed. Let's see. But I will choose one. They suffer a terrible loss. They endure serious harm. They reveal their true nature. I think what happens is she, cuts it open, and I'm like it's a ladder, so she's like cutting above her, like she's, cutting an opening in this hatchway, basically, and she cuts, and she goes to push it. She pushes it up, and a white mottled arm comes down and grabs her arm and goes to basically pull her up into there, and she lets out a cry. And I am going to say that I'm not going to go to the point of saying, I'm going to say she has a broken arm. I'm going to say this, the strength from the grave has broken her arm, and she's in a situation where she's going to be pulled up into this zombie's lair, I guess, unless something happens. So Sarah, you're probably standing by. What do you think you do?
Well, I can't see her attacker really at all. So my immediate reaction is to grab her by her tool belt, which is tight around her waist, and throw my whole weight onto it.
Okay. So that sounds like avert disaster. So go ahead and draw on survival.
Would it not be rescue an NPC from the zombie?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, rescue an NPC. That's perfect. Rescue an NPC. When you try to rescue an NPC from the zombies, draw steal.
Okay.
Steal is what, 2? So you got an edge. Okay. On an edge, you pull them safety. On an edge, draw from the bait deck or suffer serious harm. Your choice. So this is to you. Do you want to suffer serious harm, which is a draw where you might die or you might just get bruised, or do you want to draw from the bite deck?
I've already drawn one from the.
No good options here.
It was traumatic. So suffer serious harm is.
It's a move.
See what it is. I'm just looking at it.
Yeah.
Okay, it wouldn't be explicitly lethal.
You would probably be drawing 2 cards, hoping for some sort of hit. If you didn't get a hit of any sort, you'd be dead.
I'd say you have a bodyguard as well, because you have plenty of NPCs around you who are willing to help out with the action. Right?
Yeah, I'd probably give that to you. I might force that person being the bodyguard to also draw a bite card, maybe. But anyways, think about it. What do you want to do? Or you could just draw 1 bite card. There's only a 1 in 13 chance that you'll get that bite.
And what's the chance of missing with 3 cards? I don't know.
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah, it's about, let's see, it'd be about roughly 1 in 2, about 1 in 8 or so would be the chance of getting three misses. If you want to play the odds.
Okay, I made it.
Oh, you drew you got a safe? Excellent.
You got a safe.
All right.
So I grab Sarah. She pulls her hand loose of the zombie, and we both tumble to the ground or fall broken by other people standing nearby.
Yep. All right, so you pull her out of there, and then this zombie, like more or less, topples out onto the ground. You see, it's a guard that, some point in the past had died or been killed up in there, and who steps forward to just kind of dispatch it? It's just a single zombie. It's out in the open. It's not going to be. You don't need to draw to kill it, but who steps forward to dispatch this zombie?
I think DeMarcus Nation does, actually.
Okay. Yeah, DeMarcus is recovered. He had a concussion or something last time.
I think that Tyler's got his gun drawn and he's pointing at it, and then DeMarcus just pushes past and goes and just takes it out like in one go.
Okay. DeMarcus has I think he has brass knuckles, but I imagine that's not what he's using here.
He is violent. Everybody has a piece of metal or
some sort of
right,
bashing device.
Well, he's an ex-prison guard, so he's got a nightstick.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So he just whack, 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 and crushes the skull of this zombie. And it stinks, of course, horribly up in this security room, but it seems to be clear.
Fuck. Tyler, can you look after Robin?
Yeah, she's got a broken arm.
You can't go in there. We're just in the security room on top of the tower, top of our cell block, right? Like.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you sling her or patch her up or something?
Listen, she's just gonna have to stay here, okay?
Fine.
Like, I can't let you go in there on your own.
And Robin's like, I'll be okay. She pats you on the shoulder, Sarah, and she said, I'll be okay. I'll go down and I'll try to get this thing set. She's grimacing, but she's not going to die or anything.
Okay. All right. Well, we have to get at least a look. We can.
Okay. Peer out of the security block, I guess, and assess the situation.
Sure. Okay. So you're up in there, so you're kind of like there's another door that leads out onto the catwalk, so you're kind of peering. Maybe there's a little barred window in that door. We see Tyler looking out the door, try to assess the situation. Let me recall, and then we'll shuffle. Go ahead when you're ready, Tyler.
That is an edge and a miss. I'll spend a point of stress to make it a.
That's opportunity that turns into a triumph.
Of course, opportunity. Yes,
that's okay though. An edge is okay. It just means you get one question.
Yeah,
and you still get +1 going forward.
What's our best way in? I suppose seems the best. As in terms of the safest route in kind of approach.
Right. So you see that the catwalk is clear. There's no zombies up here. The fencing, it's in pretty good shape. I imagine there's a catwalk and then it has a fence, that kind of encases it. And it looks pretty intact all along. So it looks like a pretty straight route from here to there. And that door leading into the, where the catwalk leads into the watchtower, sort of maybe halfway up the tower, or maybe most of the way up the tower, I guess, is slightly ajar. But it looks quiet otherwise.
I'm imagining that Sarah's group of people, right, isn't just they came from a military base, so they may not be like soldiers, all of them, but at the very least, they're people who are like used to being, they went through some sort of training at some point in the past, right, and they've survived this long. kind of thing. So kind of imagining this is the closest you would get to a commando. You know what I mean? Like we're actually moving in some sort of semblance of movement rather than entirely shambolic like civilians.
Yeah, there's at least discipline. It's not exactly military training.
And Tyler looks
But when you say
terrified.
stop, or down or things like that, people do it.
Yeah, in the Walking Dead TV show, they show after the first season or so that like the survivors have learned to like stay in a formation, cover every angle when they're attacked by zombies, and as long as you stay cool and collected and stay together and keep your formation, you pretty much can take on a whole swarm of zombies without terrible danger. As long as you stay cool.
Sarah and I have handguns. So
yeah,
I imagine it's like one of us covers the group moves for, you know what I mean? Like, and we'll come across to that door, and I guess like
I have a shotgun.
Where'd you get a shotgun from?
Off the guard that we killed.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't have a ton of shells for it, but
no.
But he had a full clip and a couple in his pocket.
Right. Matthew, Malcolm, you're still. We picture you still down, covering the doorway at the ground floor. You see, Robin comes down the stairs and she's holding her arm and grimacing, and she says, "They might need your help. They're going to go into the tower."
Robin is the ally of
Sarah.
Sarah. Okay. I gestured. I look to Yaya. She is one of the third of my 4 allies in the colony, and I gestured her to accompany me. Tell Daniel, Wei, and the rest to hold down the fort here and head up.
Okay. Can you put that name in the chat? I missed what you said.
Yeah, sure. I've already written a list here. So.
And Chase just sent a message saying that they overslept and they'll be on soon in a moment.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so you're going to leave all of your sons, or just this? You're going to head upstairs. Are you taking any of your sons with you?
I am taking Yaya and Khalid with me.
Yaya and Khalid, okay.
Yeah.
Leaving Daniel and Leo downstairs.
You leave Daniel and Wei downstairs. And what about Leo? Do you want to take Leo, your lieutenant, or leave him here?
I can trust. I mean, Malcolm knows that the situation doesn't need to be addressed right now, but is willing to trust Leo to, work with Daniel and Wei.
Hold down the fort here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you got Yaya and Khalid with you. Got it. All right. So you head upstairs, and let's Tyler. What's the next step, you think?
I think we get to that door. Sarah racks that shotgun, and Tyler does his best impersonation of a breach and clear.
You pull the door open.
Mm-hmm. Sarah's looking to Tyler for how do we do this?
Yeah, well, it's doors. Remember, we need to take him alive. But doors and corners. Okay. Shit. And then.
So I imagine you come inside and it's lit up in here. The power's on, so the lights are on. And of course there's a bulb that's flickering because of course. And there's at the end of this short hallway, there's stairs that go up, presumably to the top level, which presumably is where your quarry is. And there's a door to the side that's let's say there's about halfway down this hallway, there's a door on each side One says armory, and the other says records room.
Let's say Malcolm is, in his group coming up the walkway
they
behind
caught
us,
up. Yeah, they're caught up.
as we're stood here, and then it's like, so the controls for most of this stuff will be upstairs, won't they? Like to regain control of the prison, it's upstairs.
Yeah, it's up in the command center.
I mean, I wonder if there's any tear gas down there.
I was thinking the same thing.
Armory.
Check the armory door.
Someone needs to keep an eye on the stairs.
Yeah,
DeMarcus.
We got eyes in all directions.
Yeah.
DeMarcus watch the stairs. Okay.
Yeah, and if we could leave behind at least another ally, I think, and not just DeMarcus kind of stuff.
Maybe we can leave. DeMarcus and Khalid over there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So DeMarcus and Khalid sort of move forward, and they've DeMarcus has got his club and his brass knuckles ready in case something happens, and Khalid probably has some sort of stick or something.
I give DeMarcus my pistol.
You give him your pistol, okay?
Yeah, and I say I'm gonna don't tell my boss, okay, DeMarcus? I'm gonna need that back.
He gives you a smile.
Sarah gives you a look when you do that. She doesn't say anything. Her face is very blank, but she looks at you and tilts a tiny bit as if to say, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I think Tyler, as he turns around, catches you, and then just sort of awkwardly, "Let's go."
Sure. Okay, so Tyler, you're gonna you go into the armory then?
Yeah, I'm going into armory with Tyler as well. I just realized we've never established whether Malcolm carries anything of significance, like as a weapon or.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think he might have had?
I mean, when I conceive of the character, I kind of imagine him being savage enough to beat someone with his bare fists, but I don't think that's practical in the fucking zombie apocalypse.
Sure.
So I'm thinking maybe I don't know, within reason, a crowbar or a monkey wrench.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Big wrench from the engineering, like the mechanics sort of thing.
Yeah,
right?
from the yeah. I guess the wrench from the shop.
What the British would call a spanner, right?
Yeah, or it might be a monkey wrench because those have the right ugly look.
It's true. Okay, so you got a big old nasty old heavy wrench of some sort. We'll say that. Yeah. So we got two things I'd like to do here. So the first one is let's have Malcolm do this one. So Malcolm, you're giving. No, I think it would be better. Yeah, let's have Malcolm do the giving a NPC allies that move for how DeMarcus and who was it, Khalid, they're going to do in covering the door. So go ahead and let's see, Khalid, looking at both of their empathy, intimidation, and violence for DeMarcus, and we sort of have to imagine that Khalid is probably a violent, intimidating person also. So I don't know if their moves are going to help them here, their skills. Mm-hmm. Equipment-wise, it sounds like they're pretty jacked up on gear, especially giving him that pistol is going to help. So we'll give you a card for that. So Matthew, when you are ready, let me recall and shuffle just in case.
Yeah, and I'd like to use the NPC allies move instead of the tyrant move.
Yeah,
because I don't think it's appropriate.
Yeah,
that's more prudent. Yeah.
This
feels more like tyrant move feels more like I'm going to be suggesting something that's really, really like demanding of someone.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So go ahead when you're ready. You're going to draw 3 cards.
All right. That is
survivor deck.
Survival.
Yes.
Wait.
Survivor deck. You actually don't use one of your stats for this. It's just you get 2 cards and then you get an extra card because they have equipment. So you get 3 cards.
All right. 3 cards. Oops.
A little card drawing music.
Yep.
All right, you got that triumph.
Got a
Okay.
triumph. Yeah.
Yep. So everything goes according to plan. Great. So, and then Tyler, I'm going to have you do an avert disaster, because as you go into the armory, first of all, maybe Sarah, you look back and you see that there's a camera that's looking right down on you guys. It was like over the door where you came in. And as Tyler opens the door, maybe at the last second, Sarah, as he steps forward, you see that there's a tripwire across the doorway. And Tyler, let's avert disaster. See how you do.
Okay. That's an edge and an edge. And it is a survival, so I have 3 cards. A triumph.
Okay, good job. All right, so on a triumph, you manage it. No problems at all. So you stop.
I think I stumble, right? And I slip and I go towards it and I grab both sides of the door. And I just hold myself over the tripwire. And then Sarah comes behind me and grabs me by the shirt, pulling me back up again.
Yeah. Grab your belt and haul.
And you see that there's a frag grenade, attached to this tripwire, set up right at the doorway there. And at the same time, there's a DeMarcus is probably like, oh shit, it's Simon's, and you hear a gunshot, and Simon's, in riot gear, the psycho cop tumbles down those stairs down to the ground, and you see that there's a bullet, right through the face mask of this riot helmet, that's gone into his brain, and
so glad I gave DeMarcus that pistol.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So Simons is out.
Simons is out.
Okay.
Chase, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome.
I love that you deadbanned your response.
I'm still kind of waking up. Sorry.
That's okay. We'll get you into the action. I think they've returned to the tower to try to, it sounds like, capture Bryn. So we left you. Your character is back in the cell block, so we will catch up to you as soon as we can. Okay.
No problem.
Okay. Grab some coffee or something, and we'll get you into it. Okay, so that's the situation. The blast of the shot of the bullet or the pistol still ringing in your ears, and but again, danger averted.
So I see.
Simons had come down the stairs from the general area of the control room.
Yeah, he was lurking up there, and DeMarcus got the jump on him apparently.
Fuck! If they were going to ambush us, they would have used
another shotgun. Falls to the ground too. He had a shotgun.
Well, who's going to draw the armory card?
It's true.
Yeah. Wait, were we able to disarm the grenade or something? Or that was just
you can step over it as long as people are careful. It should be okay.
All right.
I mean, if it's a tripwire, we can just.
I'm actually going to grab.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, maybe the FBI agent
holding the hold
the pin or whatever. Yeah.
While someone disentangles the wire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't make you guys roll on that, but that's
one of Sarah's allies, I imagine, from a military base. Just
could be.
I don't feel like Malcolm would do this, but I just want to say, if anybody wants to pocket that grenade and make a Chekhov's grenade, that'd be great.
Oh, I think that's what Sarah's doing for sure. Yeah,
I'm happy. Tyler, see what's in there. They're probably
so let's imagine a police prison armory. So obviously we've established there's tear gas. There's at least there's probably a box of grenades. For some reason they had frag grenades here. There's probably a rack of shotguns.
Or maybe
there's
they might have flashbangs instead.
Yeah, there could be some flashbangs, sure. You may just imagine, you imagine yourself gearing up with whatever you think is appropriate. And indeed, we have a card to kind of capture raiding the armory here called Armory. When you arm several members of your enclave from the armory, draw survival. On a hit, everyone armed takes +1 ongoing. So it's a very good card if you get a good result here. You're going to draw survival. So who's going to lead the way on raiding the armory here? Basically, whoever's got good survival is what you want.
Yeah, it's not gonna be me.
Tyler will, because I think he's grabbing like stuff off the shelves, throwing it to people, and yelling back up to DeMarcus. You know, like
I also know what all of this stuff is, which I don't.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, I suppose.
From what we know, you'd be probably familiar with this kind of gear.
Well, I've been checked out on some of this stuff, but not on like riot gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's whereas Tyler knows, has the police stuff too.
Yeah, there's 2 edges so far, and a triumph. Boom.
Bam! There it is. Right.
Cool. So we have equipment and lots of ammo, so it won't be exhausted after we've used it.
Right. And everybody remember, any violent action, it can apply to all kinds of moves, but any violent action, you get a +1 forward.
Good. All right. So everyone who wants arming is armed.
Sure.
Yeah, I keep the frag grenade, and I suggest that you find a flashbang grenade and a launcher.
Like a grenade launcher? Sure.
For the flashbangs, because it'd be the kind of thing that they'd put down a riot with.
The tear gas launcher will fire the grenades will fire from the grenade launcher, I imagine.
Right. But what I'm saying is that they'd use flashbangs to put down a riot.
Yeah. So we've got flashbangs, tear gas,
they're much more
grenade
effective.
launcher, and
tear gas, and you don't have to wear gas masks.
So I think we'll do this kind of like a Blades in the Dark kind of thing, where you can just call out, that you have X or Y or Z when the time comes. You pretty much have free reign. You got to triumph. I'm not going to restrict you too badly. As long as you stay within the fiction.
I get my pistol back off DeMarcus when I go up and I pass him a shotgun from the thing,
Sure.
and I'm like,
the only specific question I want to ask is anybody going to put on riot gear, body armor type stuff? It will, mechanically, obviously, it'll be very helpful. There might be a moment where it'll give me an opportunity to use it against you, but it's up to you.
Malcolm will definitely put on, not necessarily. I don't. My vocabulary in armaments is very weak, but I guess he will put on body armor because in his past he's had to deal with being in a kind of rough neighborhood. So
Sure.
That's
I'll have one of my allies proceed.
Put on some armor.
Armor up. I want most people to be able to maneuver.
Yeah. But when you mean
shit.
he means body armor of riot gear, like the helmet and the pads. If you've seen The Walking Dead when they go to the prison, or if you play Left 4 Dead, the ones that are like armored zombies, they've got riot gear on basically. It's like paramilitary cops,
I don't think I got as far as the armored zombies in Left 4 Dead, but I imagine
no, Walking Dead.
Bulletproof vests,
but no shields, right? None of those. Yeah.
No, I don't think they'd have shields. I'm imagining, bulletproof vest, a helmet, probably some sort of shin and arm guards kind of thing.
I'm kind of imagining Malcolm was like piecemeal. Like you've grabbed a helmet, you've shoved it on, you've got the armor on, but like you're sort of like Mad Maxy rather than like prison guard kind of style, like with that wrench still in one hand and a gun in the other. Like,
and you're a big dude; it might not fit all that well, and
absolutely,
it's going to get the job done though. Yeah. Okay, so I have Malcolm and I have one of Sarah's people then for now having body armor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's next? It's been quiet upstairs. DeMarcus says, I don't hear anything upstairs. And imagine there's a ladder or the stairwell that goes up, and there's like a door there where Simons was lurking, and it's now sort of swung shut. Maybe it's ajar slightly. It's quiet up there though. There's no noise. Light though. I mean, it's electricity's on up there.
Something's happened to them.
Yeah, something's happened.
They would have ambushed us harder. If they had the people to do it. So something's going on. We got to get up there and have a look.
We push. If anything, the silence is just more reason to investigate.
Yeah,
sure. So, who's leading the way? Who's gonna push that door open and see what's up?
I mean, we've got all this equipment, right? We've got flashbangs. We are equipped for storming a room, basically.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think Malcolm grows impatient and basically pushes.
Yeah, well,
so
let Malcolm go first.
I'm just suggesting that perhaps this is make a plan.
It would be, but there's something more you're going to see here in a second.
Yeah.
Make a plan is when you're going into a zombie infested area too, so that's not
Okay,
quite
right.
that.
Okay.
Malcolm,
Basically, just tell me.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell
go for it,
just-
Malcolm.
yeah, Malcolm. I like the idea of Malcolm be like, "Fuck this," and push your way up there, push this door open, and what you
Yeah,
see before you.
I just say to Malcolm, if I yell drop, hit the ground, okay? Because means I'm firing at waist height.
Yeah.
Okay, just so you know.
Hmm.
So you move up in there, and like I said, the lights are on, and it's a big, fairly wide open area with lots of like workstations and stuff. But like the center of the room, all the workstations have been moved out of the way, so there's sort of an open area, and there's hanging from this roof by a rope is a guard, a prison guard. It looks like it's the guy, the sniper guy. He has like lighter armor, um, and he's hanging. But he's been stripped down, and you can see all of his major arteries have been cut, and blood is like pooled down on the ground. But most of it has been caught by a bowl, which is now empty. So there's like it's a bloody sacrificial scene, I guess. And there's no signs of anyone else here. Emilio, you're down in cell block B, and where would we find you? So Chase, we described that the cell block has sort of like 3 levels, and there's quite a few people down on the ground floor sort of like watching the door, because it's a long story, but there's basically zombies out in the fences outside of the cell block. And the other guys have gone through the upper floor onto the catwalk and taken that over to this watchtower. Where would we find you in the cell block, Emilio, if you're there, Chase?
Probably with Maxine and like any other survivors that that are holed up, kind of stuck in between all the conflict.
Okay. I think, let's see. So Maxine, she says, I think they're going to get themselves killed. I don't think, I don't know I don't know if they know what they're getting themselves involved in here.
I'm gonna look over to her and was like, they're trying to put Brim back away so we can deal with 2 problems at once here. We have to figure out how to get these zombies off our ass too.
This Bryn guy, he already talked the police into helping him. What's to stop him from doing that to these guys? I mean, Malcolm and his sons, I mean, they're strong, obviously, but they're not the brightest.
Well, at the very least, we can try and talk to these people and see if they can help offer up a way to kind of distract Bryn while the rest of the crew is going in to get him.
And she says she's looking out the window to the north, and I don't know if you caught this. I think maybe at the end of last session you got this, Chase, but there's that fiery cloud in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "And what the hell is that?"
That's another.
And I don't think Emilio had seen that. I mean, you've seen it now. So go ahead and add a point of stress, Chase, to Emilio. Just whatever this otherworldly fiery cloud is upsetting. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, we can use that to our advantage in a way. I mean, this guy, Bryn, he could be calling more people coming over here. Or it can be just calling even more zombies over here. We ain't got time for all of that shit. This guy has to get out of the way.
right? And looking out there, you see walking across the field, sort of like from the watchtower towards the sort of the northeast gate is a man, a tall, thin man, and he seems to be naked from the waist up, and I think it's not too far away. I think you can tell he's covered in blood. His upper torso, his torso, and his head, he's covered in blood, and he's carrying a big container, presumably full of blood. And he's walking towards that northeast gate. And you hear the gunshot from the top of the tower. That we know what that is.
It sounds like that blood cult. Looks like that blood cult stuff. He was putting blood all over me too when he had me
Yeah.
up there. All right,
And he's
so
just sauntering along towards that gate.
am I near the gate?
No, you're sort of I'm picturing you like on the second floor of your B block here. So you're probably a good 150 yards away from him.
Do I see anybody else going to the gate to let him in?
No, I mean, you know that gate. You guys don't even lock it because, you know, the only threat you have is zombies. So you guys, you don't I imagine you guys haven't really left much in the last few weeks since Z-Day. You pretty much stayed inside the prison, but yeah, he seems to be just sauntering along, and we'll say he's gotten to that external gate, or I guess an internal gate, that first gate, and he's just sliding it open.
Okay. I'm going to assess a bad situation to see which problem I need to tackle first.
All right, sounds reasonable. Let's go back to the page. Let me recall. And so far today, you remember last week, Chase, you especially were getting lots and lots of misses. Everyone's doing well so far, so keep it going.
Also, you're just gonna jinx me, is what
Yeah,
I
maybe I
heard
did.
here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's draw steel, and
Yeah.
I have 3 steel. Here we go. Opportunity, miss, and a miss. So I'll take the stress to make it into a triumph. So I have 3
Okay.
stress.
Okay.
On a triumph, ask 2. All right, what is the biggest threat to me right now?
Sure. I think you feel that whatever that fiery fog bank is seems like the greatest threat to you.
And that's outside the prison.
Yeah, it seems to be a couple miles away, but God, what is that? It's horrifying, whatever it is.
Okay. And then what is the most useful thing to me and Maxine right now?
I think maybe your eyes couldn't see it, but the camera does. We see that whatever container Bryn is carrying, it's leaking a little bit. There's a little bit of a convenient blood trail that's being left behind. And we see him going through that secure guard area to the outer fence. And he's on the way moving out into the forest, really. But he's leaving a bit of a trail.
Okay.
How's that? And remember, if you act on this information, you get a +1 forward, but I'm leaving it you guys to remind me of the +1 forwards. I'm not tracking those.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm going to look at Maxine. I'm going to be like, we're going to follow that guy. I have a feeling he may be heading towards that, whatever the hell the thing is out there.
Right. Yeah, and he is indeed. It's off to the north, and that's the direction he's going. There's a little bit of like a road that he takes for a little while, then he turns left and he heads into the forest. Yeah, that's what you see. And it is, even that part of the forest, it's not obviously super foggy, but it's misty. So you lose sight of him pretty quickly, but you see where he's going.
No.
And I think Maxine, I think you're going to, let's see, she's your ally, though. I won't make you ask for help. She says, okay, you're right. But do you think we should get the others first? Hopefully, if they're still alive. I don't know about you and I. You think it's smart just the two of us go?
I think maybe you should tell them to follow the blood trail, and I'll get a head start following him.
Okay. All right. So you send Maxine to try to track down these other guys, and you
Yeah, she's good at
head
being
that way.
stealthy.
Okay. Let's see. I think what you would do. So Tyler had sort of the presumably Bryn had allowed the zombies from the nearby cell blocks to wander into the maze of fences that are between the cell blocks. So, but Tyler had successfully sort of barricaded them from getting to your cell block. Um, I think. Tell me how you get out of this maze of fences without getting exposed to zombies and make your way to that gate that Bryn went out through. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Okay, so I would need to.
You need to kind of get past this maze of fences without getting attacked by zombies
Yeah,
to get to where Bryn went. You follow what I'm saying?
yeah. I'm just gonna work on like fleeing from them, like kind of hiding from them and moving.
Okay. So, let's see. That would be.
Flee
I
the
think that,
dead is a
yeah, it'd probably be just
survival.
be a flee the dead. Yeah. So I think you take a chance. You find a side passage. You pull it open, but the zombies spot you, and some of them start moving towards you. And it's just a matter of if you can move, zig and zag through these fences without getting caught by zombies. So let me recall and shuffle. We can go back to our stat. Okay, and flee the dead is survival. So when you're ready, go ahead.
That is 3 cards. Miss. Edge. Edge.
Okay. So on an edge, you choose one from the pick list, and then I will choose one as well.
I don't have anything valuable. I
Right,
guess.
you could perhaps choose that in order to get get far enough ahead that people have trouble following you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could do that if that's something that I can word it as, because I'm alone already. So
Yeah, I think what I'm going to say is that you get through here, but that trail of blood, that falling snow is picking up and it starts to obscure that trail. So it's going to be hard for the others to follow you, but you don't know that, of course. And then, so that's your pick. And then my pick is I'm going to have you draw from the bite deck. I think that last fence you slam shut, but there's a zombie right there. It comes at you. It's got its hands and its skull through the gap as you're trying to close it. And draw a bite card for me.
safe.
Safe.
Nothing
All
goes
right.
wrong.
Very well. All right. So you get through there, and we see Emilio going through that fence or that gate also out into the woods. And the snow is falling, and we see it sort of covering up some of this little bit of blood trail that Bryn has left behind him. And let's take a break, and we'll pick up there and finish up our last hour. 5 minutes, okay for everybody?
Mm.
Sounds good. All right, I'll see you in 5. How's everybody doing?
Ugh.
You still feeling sick then, Chase?
Just it was more like pain, so I'm just kind of tired still because I didn't sleep.
My next Friday, I'm getting the second shot for the vaccine, so hopefully I'll feel okay come Sunday. But first shot didn't do me any pain, and my wife was okay with the second shot. It's Pfizer, so hopefully I'll be all right.
I think I'm getting
Who's
up.
who's Sam and Max?
Sam and Max are the cats.
They're also freelance police.
Oh yes, I understood that reference.
Yeah, where do you hey Max, where do you keep that gun of yours anyway? None of your goddamn business, Sam. Still my favorite line.
There's a strip of Sam and Max where they visit the Philippines, and it's nothing like the Philippines. But
No.
yeah, but I know that
Well, they visit
actor.
one which is populated entirely by intelligent rats.
Yeah,
So, you know,
yeah, it's par for the course for it to not like I think the author just goes, oh, if I make it crazy enough, I don't have to be accurate.
that's precisely the motivation. It's like
As he says, drawn without reference material.
Yeah.
It's literally the gag on the page that I can see in front of me.
Yeah,
the
right.
characters even say that, right?
Mhm.
It's like I think one of them at one point, Sam. It's like the author had never has never been to Europe in his life, and they see the fact that people get around in rockets, and there are kiosks on the corner that dispense furniture and things like that.
So let's pick up with Maxine burst. You guys are standing there looking at this bloody scene at the top of the tower. And Maxine bursts in and says, she runs over to one of these windows that looks out to the north, and she points and she says, Emilio's going after Bryn. He's going into the forest.
Bryn's out.
Swear, look at the cameras, right? Like they're controlled from this room, right? Probably see Emilio like slipping out at the very end,
Right. Into the forest, disappearing. Yep.
Yeah.
And nobody alive is up here, right? That we can tell.
Just you guys, yeah. There's nobody else up here. It's very clear. There's not a lot of nook and crannies, so there's just this dead. What's when you're drained from blood?
Exsanguinated.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I imagine we need to lock the prison down, but Tyler's going to go after Bryn.
Okay.
You're not going alone.
I mean, isn't it all of us going after Bryn?
Well, there's a lot of free reign zombies, and this is our chance. We've got the power on, we've got the stuff. It feels like this is a chance to lock the prison down. We've never had the power before, right? Like,
yeah, that's right. Mm-mm.
So we can actually use some of these gates and things while it's still active. And we've got loads of armor, and there's also this horde of zombies outside cell block B, our home, right? So, but it doesn't feel appropriate for Tyler to, you know what I mean? Like I was sent here after Bryn. I have to kind of follow him to do the plot.
Sure. So Tyler is gearing up, grabbing the shotgun and whatnot, and says, "I got to get Bryn." And you guys, looks like Sarah said you're not going alone, and Malcolm's like, "Aren't we all going?" And I think Will's probably right. This is a good opportunity if you leave some people here to try to get the Enclave back in shape, to physically go out and clear out some of these zombies that are wandering around, then close down gates,
what
in a
happens if
strategic
whatever's
manner.
coming hits while we're doing, you know what I mean? Like the stuff outside, if it came now, we would be absolutely screwed, right? We need to...
Okay,
so I guess the question is, it sounds like the PCs are going to head out to the forest, which makes good sense. But who are you going to leave behind to take care of the zombie menace and get the Enclave back in shape?
DeMarcus.
I mean, at this point, I've left, Yaya and Khalid and everybody else sort of like, you know, to take care of the
Back.
situation
Sure.
with
Sure.
with Daniel and Waya downstairs.
Can
Right.
we find some radios?
Radios,
Yeah.
like walkie-talkie kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
Okay, so we can have a way for someone in the compound here to be in touch with the group that's outside.
Cool. Should
Yeah,
we
I
leave all
should
the,
have
we
a
leave all the
couple
NPCs
kilometers
behind,
range.
and we'll head out. Yeah, that seems like a plan.
Mm-hmm.
All the NPCs with, the stuff that we grabbed from the armory, and then we head out like after
Right.
Bryn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds dramatically appropriate. I think what we'll do, let me make a note that I'm going to have, when you get back to the Enclave, how did the NPCs do? And if we think it's interesting, maybe we'll do a draw for the NPCs of how they did in saving the Enclave. So Tyler, it sounds like you're taking the lead here, leading the three PCs out of the tower in that direction, right? Let's you are kind of, I think what we'll do, we'll kind of abstract moving out into the forest, going after Emilio with a make a plan move. So what's your plan between the three of you? What do you guys think is your plan to get through this dangerous, scary forest and catch up to Emilio and Bryn? And if you want to, I'm looking at the make a plan move.
Yeah, I think it's about being stealthy. Yeah, careful, safe, stealthy, and smart. Trying our best to follow like footprints in the snow, if nothing else, and stuff like that. But it's falling, obviously, so it's a difficult thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like everybody, fire discipline, right? A gunshot will attract every zombie in the area.
Right.
So
As Malcolm has a wrench in one hand and a pistol in the other, like, yeah, fire discipline.
I'm just saying, noise attracts zombies. So
sure.
So don't shoot unless you have to.
Is anyone? Well, I can do it with survival. If it sounds like Sarah's doing it. To be honest,
let me put this out there. Going stealthy means going slowly.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. I'm not going to. If you get a good result, I'm not going to. I'll let you get a good result. But if there's a complication, that's you're right. Something to pull from.
I think dramatically as well, given the time and everything. Like, this is quick, right? So this is the running around with flashlights, like flickering through the snow, like kind of yelling out to each other, sort of manhunt style sort of thing, right?
Sure.
Malcolm dislikes the idea of stealth. You have correctly guessed, and would rather like the situation be resolved as quickly as possible. For the sake of being able to take control of the situation downstairs as well.
The snow's falling, right?
Yeah.
So savagery. Then it's a plan about taking violent, dangerous, destructive action.
Dangerous
action. Okay, so I can see that. I can see that one, or I can see the last one, which is it's a plan about pushing through, being tough, strong, and implacable. Which one do you think fits better?
I think. I was going to suggest steel, to be honest. Sorry, Brandon.
Sorry, excuse me. Sarah says we're losing Emilio's tracks. We gotta get after him as quick as we possibly can.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see.
Because that was a drawback that Emilio drew.
Right. I think probably the best fit. Yeah, let's do savagery, and we'll just, if you run into trouble, we'll see you running headlong in and fighting it, right?
What I'd suggest is that it's savagery, right?
Yeah.
But we're armed and we're ready to pop at anything that's going to come up. So we could take our +1 forward using our armory thing as well.
that
it's whenever it
that
comes
wouldn't
to
apply here. This is kind of just going to
Let's
set the
save that.
stage.
Save that.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Okay, so I think it's a +1 ongoing. It's not just a +1 forward too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that's just why I was bringing it up. Yeah.
all right, so I think I picturing Malcolm, confidently charging forward, and you guys are being, looking around, following tracks, trying to pick up a little bit of a blood trail and whatnot. So let's have it be savagery for Make a Plan. And before we do that, though, I know last session we had Sarah and Tyler in the forest for a little while, and we talked about what was spooky. But let me ask you too, Matthew. You weren't here last week, but this forest is very spooky. What is it about this forest that's a little scary and spooky to you, to Malcolm?
I'd say that the forest is spooky because the trees are all incredibly old, and they have a very even though my understanding of forests is that they don't necessarily take that shape, but in this case they're all very gnarled and knotted trees, and they've knotted themselves in such a fashion way before way before they were expected to.
Perfect. I like it. Right. I'm thinking of the old forest from Tolkien. Okay. That's very evocative. I like it. Let's go ahead and do that draw then. So you're going to draw savagery. And recalled and shuffled. Matthew, I think you're going to lead the way on this one. So go ahead. You got 3 savagery. Oh, let's check the pluses though. Supported by plenty of resources and people. I'll say yes. You get a +1 for that. It's not based on a current accurate plan. It's a little bit frantic. Yeah. There's not dissent. There is indeed significant opposition in this forest though. So I'm going to do a -1. So overall, you're no modifier. 3 savagery cards. Edge, miss. All right, an edge. On a hit, you arrive in the middle of your plan in decent shape. On an edge, some part of your plan encounters unexpected difficulties, or your party splinters. Your choice. What do you think, Matthew? Do you want to have the party splinter, or do you want an unexpected difficulty?
Unexpected difficulty.
All right, I like it. Yeah. So we fade out with you guys going into the forest. We see, a brief montage of you, waving flashlights around and following a blood trail, and Malcolm, knocking branches and stuff out of his way. And we fade out and we come in to see, it fades in and we see a scene of you coming into a clearing, and Emilio, you're there. And it's a bit of a clearing, but it's thick foliage all around you, these gnarled trees, and there is a pole. Clearly someone has chopped up a tree into a pole and stuck it in the ground, and hanging from this pole is a what was that word again, Will? Exsanguinate. Okay, I'll just turn to you every single time we need to say that. And this person is that. Remember that woman or that person you smashed in the broke their jaw, Sarah?
Yep.
This is that person. They're hanging upside down. Again, they're naked. They have all of their major arteries cut. There's a blood-stained bowl, wooden bowl hanging, discarded to the side underneath them. And Emilio, you guys come into the clearing, and Emilio's there staring up at this. What do you guys say or do to each other?
I rush over to Emilio and say, Emilio, are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm more freaked out about this.
Yeah. Look, Bryn's. That's what they did. One of the guards. Did you see where he went?
He had a big container filled with that blood and was heading towards over here. I think he's doing some kind of stupid ass ritual.
Yeah.
But he was by himself. But there was that weird
By
glowy
himself?
stuff in the forest.
By himself
Oh.
in the middle of a forest of zombies?
Yeah. Are we moving closer towards where that light is coming from?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You realize you've been following a very light track. There's some footpath that you kind of have been roughly following to the north.
I pass Emilio my shotgun
I take
and pull out my pistol.
Crack the skull.
Boily.
The pistol or the shotgun?
The shotgun, I keep the pistol because it's my actual pistol as opposed to one from the armory.
Okay,
What were you saying, Brandon? I didn't pick up what you
Sorry,
said.
I take a
the
moment,
shotgun
to
awkwardly.
crack the skull of the victim.
Okay. So we see Sarah go over and bash at the skull of this person that she's already partially bashed it prior. And Malcolm
kicks over the bucket of blood.
Yeah, Malcolm, you feel maybe you were hanging back a little bit, looking at the scene. And you hear some rustling of something moving through the foliage behind you.
And I look.
There is a brown bear that's maybe 6 or 7 feet behind you that's coming out of the foliage, but it's a zombie brown bear, a zombie grizzly bear.
Oh.
It's huge. In life, it probably weighed 800, 900 pounds. And it has this rattling growl that is coming out from its throat, its ripped out throat. What do you do?
First of all, I'm tempted to enact the performance of the zombie bear, but I don't want to embarrass myself on a recording. But,
go ahead. We're all embarrassing ourselves.
But what was your what was your
what are you gonna do? Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Well, assuming the bear is coming for us.
Oh yeah.
I take a shot.
Okay. That sounds like. And this bear, because it's huge and it's nasty and it's a zombie, it's gonna count as a zombie swarm. So we're gonna have you make that move. Fight the dead. Right. Let me get us back to our cards. And this is a zombie bear from a movie I love, Annihilation. In case you guys haven't seen it, check it out.
Depending on what was in the armory, it's either a hunting rifle or an assault rifle that I was thinking of taking.
Yeah, probably like you either have a sniper rifle or like a shotgun. I don't think they would have had like hunting rifles. Yeah.
Take the shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
But you definitely will get the +1 for that because this is violent action you're taking. Let me make sure I've recalled and shuffled. All right, when you are ready, you're going to do savagery, but you get to add 1 because of. Before we do that though, you get +1 because of the armory card. So you already got 4 cards you're going to do. So that's pretty good, right? However, let's go around the table. On a zombie move, each of you has the option of giving him an extra card if you're willing to draw a bite card. Anybody? I just put it on the table. Anybody want to draw a bite card to help Matthew?
Where are we at?
You're all in this clearing. This bear is coming out of the forest.
No, I mean, how many cards is he drawing?
2 have been drawn. I think it's actually 3, but I think I reshuffled the first one on accident. So there's 2. So there's 12 left in the deck. One of those is a bite card.
Oh, did he draw the survival deck yet?
No. I think on the bite card you have to call it before.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll draw from the bite deck.
All right, Amelia, go ahead and draw a card from the bite deck.
Bam, bam. Threat escalation.
All right. We'll put that into the result here. Anybody else? He's up to 5 cards now.
No, I'm expecting trouble from other quarters.
Okay. All right, Malcolm, draw 5 survivor cards when you are ready.
All right. Drawing 5.
Don't miss.
Wait. Let's see. Well, 1, 2,
Edge.
3, 4, 5.
All right, you got an edge as your best?
Yeah.
All right, for Fight the Dead, on a hit, you greatly reduce their numbers and choose 1. On an edge, the GM also chooses 1. So there's a pick list there. Choose one of those, Matthew, under Fight the Dead.
Let's see. I'll I'll end up in a bad spot. Draw from the bite deck.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I'm going to also say this bear is going to try to maul you, so you're also going to suffer serious harm.
Safe. Nothing goes wrong. Oh my god.
Great. All right. We got 4 now on the table, so there's 10 left in the deck.
All right.
Yeah, and so like I said, you're also going to suffer serious harm. No, let me change that. I'll just have you mark a stress. Mark a stress.
All right.
Right.
Mark
This
in
bear-
Knocks you down and drools on you.
Right. You fire. This bear is going to maul you. You fire. You knock it back. Maybe we'll say like half of its already messed up face is blown away. It's stumbling, but it's still going. It's sort of like it stumbles back and whirls. Let's say it comes at Sarah. Sarah, what are you going to do?
Fire.
Take a shot at it?
Not Chekhov's hand grenade.
We're a little close for that.
In the mouth.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
it too.
that works until it doesn't.
You got that grenade launcher too, right? You guys talked about that.
The bear is on.
I would be happy to have.
Grenade
I would be happy to say it is far enough away that you can maybe have that work. Of course, if you get a miss, it makes it easy for me to decide what happens.
I mean, what is a zombie drama but bad choices?
That shot.
And I'll make it even more tempting. I'll say because Matthew got a good result and he pushed it away and suffered, his results. It's far enough away that I won't make you make the fight the dead. You'll do an avert disaster instead.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
And roll the grenade at it.
Let me recall. So what do we see? Are you shooting the grenade launcher? Are you throwing a grenade?
A hand grenade.
Okay.
So I'm going to pull the thing. I'm going to do, and Sarah does a softball pitcher's throw.
Okay.
Because she did that.
She used to play soft. Sure.
Way back.
Wind up.
So she does an underhand wind up and throw, which is it's fairly stunning for us.
Does she say something cool or just let it happen?
Batters up, she says.
Okay. Perfect.
Please tell me your past card is baseball.
Softball pitcher, yeah. All right. So let's see. So it's a bird disaster, so that's survival. And since it's not a zombie move, people can choose to assist after you draw. So I think probably go ahead and draw. You get the +1 because of the armory. So you're looking at what? 4 cards?
Opportunity, triumph. Right.
Bam.
Chops.
Right. So yeah, it starts to growl and that rattling sound, and its whole upper body explodes, and zombie bear guts fly all around. And your ears are ringing. And
they are ringing.
Yeah, and then the sound, the ringing starts to fade, and then you hear this deep chanting coming from all around you. Maybe not all around you. The direction that Emilio saw, Emilio, you saw Bryn going further into the forest to the north. There's no chanting coming from that direction, but the other directions around you, you hear this chanting out. It's indeterminate exactly where it's coming from, but you hear this chant, this deep chanting coming from the forest around you guys. What's next? Emilio, let me put it on you. What do you do?
I point towards the direction where I saw Bryn go. I'm like, Bryn went that way. We can just keep going. If we stop him, we stop all this other crazy shit.
Fine. Let's push on.
Push on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think we're back to the make a plan move. So I think going further into this forest, same plan as before, or are you going to change up your strategy? Who's
maybe
taking
steal?
the lead on this?
Yeah, I think it's a steal one, to be honest. It sounds like to me.
Yeah, I could take point if you need me to, because I know where he went.
Yeah,
And Amelia has good steel, I think.
Yeah.
So it matches.
That's why I've been calm and collected this whole time.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, if it's okay with you, Chase, I think Emilio, the bravery you've shown, it just continues on, and you're just like, let's go.
Yeah.
You start marching that way without really flinching.
Yeah, I take off like the bear tongue off my cheek, and I'm like, all right, let's get after Bryn.
Okay. So you march off into the forest. There's this chanting that seems to be, sort of constant along the sides of your path. Emilio, I think same question I asked everybody else now, but now it's your turn. What else is spooky about this forest? What does, despite your bravery, what does kind of get at Emilio?
I think the deeper we get in, the more there's like these weird paraphernalia of like cult activity. Like there's strips of cloth that have been written in blood. Maybe some of it's kind of soaked and dripping down on us.
Right. Yeah, I'll even go a step further. You follow this rough footpath, and there are more of these poles set. You come around a corner and there's another one of these poles, and there's another one of these refugees that's been stripped and drained of blood. What's the word again, Will?
It's sanguinated.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, and you look ahead and you're like, oh my God, there's another one. There's a trail of blood, that you're following as you go along. All right, so that sounds good. Let's look at the make a plan move. So it looks like you're doing steel. You're being implacable.
Yeah.
I think
get
it's
a +1 forward as well from my assess a bad situation and following Bryn.
yeah, that makes good sense. And then you get another +1 for plenty of people and resources. The weapons are doing you good work here. There is significant opposition though, so I'll give them -1. So overall, you get an extra card. So you're up to what, 4?
Yeah.
Let me make sure. Looks like they're recalled and shuffled. So go ahead when you're ready.
All right. There's an edge. There's an edge. There's a miss. And there's an opportunity.
I think you said you were at 3 stress. You want to go to 4?
3. I will go to 4. I will go to 4 to make it into a triumph.
And Chase, I see on obviously I think you must be keeping track of that on a piece of paper or something, but could you make a little mark on on Roll20 just so when I look, I know where everybody's at? Okay, so you turn it into a triumph. So you arrive in good shape, and I don't think you don't have to make any choices there. So I think we see you guys. There's a montage of you moving through this forest, this field, this trail of blood, and this chanting that persists as you go along. And you're looking from side to side and looking for where these voices are coming from. But the mist is thickening, the snow is falling, it's overhead, whether it's the mist or the fog. You're not sure where you're at really, how far you've really gone. And it's your vision is poor in this forest, and it's a thick, gnarled forest anyway, so you don't really spot where these voices are coming from. And you move for, is it an hour? Is it 2 hours? You're not sure. And you realize you're rising up this forested hillside, and you get to the edge of the forest, and it opens up into the top of this forest, or the top of this hill, and it's a wide open, sort of like a plateau, I'm imagining. And there is a ghost town here. Let's go around the table. Tell me a little bit of feature of this ghost town. What do your characters notice? Let's start with Sarah. Tell me something a little bit about this ghost town. Pass if you don't have anything. Brandon, you have anything?
Yes, it has. It has a building that's the trailhead for a mine,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a copper mine.
Okay.
Obviously, long disused, but the superstructure is there that to lower down people down into it's vertical shaft
Right.
kind of thing, and the superstructure is there. That's what the town was about.
Okay. And Will, tell me something else about the ghost town.
It has a church that's rotted, but has a tall church clock tower still
Okay.
hanging, standing.
Right. Just precariously still holding together somehow.
Mm.
Emilio, tell me something more about our ghost town.
I think it has a warehouse that's half dilapidated,
Mm-hmm.
like half fallen and broken down, but the rest
Right.
of it is still standing.
Right. And Matthew, tell me something else.
Virtually all of the buildings are painted or uh, made of red brick, so it gives the town a very distinct, like deep red, like appearance
Right.
from afar. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's accentuated by the swirling, fiery fog that's above you now, and maybe it's maybe not too far above your heads. Maybe only 10, 20 feet above your heads is just swirling, fiery fog.
What does it smell like?
What do you think? Brimstone?
Yeah, maybe
Metallic, maybe.
Metallic?
metallic. I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. And do you feel, is it hot? Is it hot here, you think, or not?
I'd volunteer. Yeah, it feels kind of humid in the
Right.
presence of the fog, so it's got this this prickly warmth that makes you feel like you're sweating even though it's not hot, hot, hot.
Right. And as you reach the edge of the forest, the chanting stops. And you see a little bit of that blood trail leading up into the ghost town in front of you. What's next? And who leads the way, if that's where you're going?
Well, Bro was definitely holding a big container of blood and dragging it along, so this trail has got to lead to him.
Mm-mm.
Onwards, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
This guy needs to be. He's a menace to everybody.
Right. So tell me if you have a different idea, but I imagine you guys walking down the quote unquote main street of this ghost town. The warehouse on one side, maybe the church is at the end of the street with that clock tower, drawing you towards it. Maybe off in the near distance is the copper mine, the structure of the outbuildings and the elevator type structure of the copper mine. And you move inside, and you see that there are figures sort of between the buildings as you move along. There are people standing, black robed, black cowled figures standing to each side of you. And who's bringing up the rear? Who's in the back? It sounds like Emilio is forged forward at this point, but who do you think is bringing up a rear of the four of you?
Probably me, to be honest.
Okay. So you peek over your shoulder and you see several figures have closed off behind you too.
I mean, do we see where Brent is at this point?
I think you do. I think, or actually, do you want to assess a bad situation? Or do you want to just...
Yeah, well, I kind of just want to know where he is, really, to be honest, more than anything else. Yeah.
I think you hear his voice then. You hear his voice from ahead, from high above, probably from that clock tower or from the church tower.
There's like
And
a balcony around, where you can step out midway
right,
up the
right.
tower kind of thing. And
I'm gonna say you don't see him though, whether it's the view the view is bad or whether he's in the shadows.
Or it's
But you hear
overgrown or something.
yeah, but you hear him say something like um the final piece of the puzzle is complete. The four of you will are the what we need to finally bring forward the end and to bring on the new world. Pray to your gods. Your final hours have arrived, or something like that. Something cool like that.
I reply at the top of my
So,
voice.
Matthew, is that your TV on? Can you mute
It's
or somebody?
jamming in the phone. Let me take care of that. Whoops. Where's muting?
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Brandon.
I reply at the top of my voice. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. Matthew 7:15.
Okay.
The prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name, I have not commanded him to speak. Who speaks in the name of others, that same prophet shall die.
So I can see that. Are you trying to do anything there, or just laying some stuff out there? What do you think? Are you trying to like keep these acolytes from joining into what's coming, or
well, I'm also
aggravating Bryn? What do you think?
I am trying to sow doubt in the mind of his followers.
Sure. Okay.
Bryn's probably proof, but I've also revealed the card just
now. Okay, I thought maybe you were. All right, I'm excited to see it.
There's the past card.
Go ahead and read that out for us so we all know what it is.
And it says, priest, to reveal this card, openly perform a ritual of your faith. And then while you reveal, I can calm someone down with soul instead of steel, which is not a helpful mechanic. But
I think you being. Let me ask you this, Brandon. Do you have faith? Do you have that deep down faith in the Almighty?
I have faith in God. I no longer have faith in people. Well, I mean, the trauma has.
Right.
The trauma has, at least for now, destroyed that. But
I think
faith in God.
I think faith in God here is the useful part. So that's good. So I think I will allow you to try to. What would this be? I guess it would be calming an NPC down. You're trying to calm down these acolytes, right? Let's see. Yeah, I think that's the best fit. So when you are ready, let me make sure I've recalled and shuffled. Go ahead and draw on steel.
Okay. The lawless one will be revealed, who the Lord Jesus will destroy with the breath of his mouth. Revelations. So steel, I've got two. It's not the best, but it's what it is. Although
Could I help her too?
Yeah, this one you can wait until after they draw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if we need it, sir, anybody can jump in.
Card. I thought I drew a card.
I don't see them. There we go. Opportunity. And a miss. All right, so opportunity. You want to spend that stress?
Oh yes. I'm shouting at the top of my voice.
Sure.
My voice trembles a little bit, but it is full of righteous anger, and fury, and my Bible quotes are dead on.
Of course. And I think, I think given that we have some spiritual, magical aspects to our game, I think it's only fair to say that you are channeling some otherworldly power that is impacting on these acolytes, and you see them for who they truly are. They're not quite zombies, but they're not quite human anymore either. They're somewhere in between. Maybe demons might be the best word for this.
To drink.
So you see them for who they truly are, and they cower away from you, and they move away out of your sight, leaving the four of you in this road. And the voice of Bryn comes down and says, "It's no matter. I will drain your blood myself. Who dares approach me and face your doom?"
Someone who is as nothing in the sight of God. You have exalted yourself and have placed yourself in the image of God, and God will smite you for your pride. I am no one, and yet you will fall at my hands, because I have the power of the Lord on my side.
So let's what do we see you guys do? Malcolm, there you are. You're hearing some religious haboo. I don't know if Malcolm's a religious guy or not. What do you think you do? Roll your eyes, shake your head.
Yes, precisely. Yeah, precisely. Rolling his eyes and shaking his head, waiting for an opening. Basically, Malcolm, is prepared to eliminate Bryn, physically, but of course he is keeping an eye on, how Sarah handles the situation.
Sarah is trying to engage him, so you can do what you want.
Yeah. So there's this ruined church ahead, and there's this tower, that rises above it. So presumably, and his voice is coming down from up in this tower. So presumably, if you want to get at him, moving up and through there is the way to do it.
All right, so yeah, we'll do the old. So yeah, do yeah, just go up into the tower and try to get at um, Jasper from behind.
Okay. And
Yeah.
Tyler, what do we see you doing?
What's Emilio doing?
Okay, Emilio.
Emilio is looking at this tower, and he's going to be under his breath because as Sarah's talking, he's going to be like, he's a menace to the human people. He's just going to keep killing people to kill them, and he needs to be put down. We're going to have to put him on the death penalty.
Yeah, I kind of ask Emilio to join me.
I step up to you if I'm ready to go.
Yeah, like, boy, let's go.
I may agree at this point to take down Bryn, but I know you've done crime too, and I'm keeping my eye on you.
I think that Tyler, is basically, as Sarah's having this exchange of faith and stuff with Bryn keeping his attention, and there's all those cultists, and Tyler is just like behind her, like, what the hell's going on,
Sure.
just seeing the covering in case any of these figures come back.
And Sarah, you feel that you've driven these demons away, but it won't last for long. Okay? You're muted. And Matthew, can you go ahead and mute again?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know.
Thank you.
I'm continuing to try to hold Bryn's attention.
Okay.
And I say to him, whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed, for in the image of God he made man. You are guilty and will pay for your sins now and on the day of judgment.
Okay. Okay, we'll take that into account. Let's see how our two sneakers are doing, moving up through this ruined church. Um, there's something precarious that you have to overcome to get up in there. Emilio, what is it that's physically dangerous you have to overcome to get up into this tower?
I think a lot of the stairs are just broken. It's jutting out metal. It was like a metal staircase, and
Yeah,
it could be loud. It could be stabby.
right. Okay, so let's have you do an avert disaster. Okay, let me recall and
Okie
shuffle.
dokie pokey.
Okay,
That is
what's that?
survival.
Survival. Yeah.
It just moves in the way of the deck. I was like, where's this deck? Okay, here it is. So my survival is 2. Meow. Boop. That's a miss. Boop. And an edge. Boop.
Okay.
Oh.
Matthew, Malcolm's there. Do you want to try to assist? You would take a stress and give one card for each card that Emilio has shown, which is one.
Yeah, I'll give one card for sure.
What do we see you doing to help Emilio move up these broken stairs?
I think. Wait, so he's going up the stairs and it's metal and there's shards coming out?
It looks like maybe it was like reinforced concrete or something, or maybe wood on metal stairs, and it's rotted away or broken away over time.
So each footstep is going to cause it to collapse, basically.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, the classic, like you could step on a piece of wood and it'll break, or maybe there's just not a stair anymore. You have to like jump or crawl or something.
Okay, so I think Malcolm, with his physique, is capable of like he has a big stride, okay, and also like powerful legs, so that he can maybe jump a little further. So he does that to skip any of the steps that he feels are like not safe. And when he sees Emilio sort of like missing those steps, he uses his arm, and just lifts him past the steps with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, love it. So take a stress, and Emilio, you can draw one more card. Try to get a triumph.
I have one more stress left.
All right.
It was a miss. Oh yeah, the 2 almost stressed exploding people. Yes.
Yeah. So a reminder that if you fill up your stress track, in the game you'll get a new trauma card face down that you can play when you feel is appropriate, and usually in the game you would and then you reset your stress track back to 0, but now you have a new trauma. And in the game, once you get 4 trauma, then you're done. You become crazy basically. And since no one's going to get to 4 trauma in our short run, but
not without trying.
Yeah. Instead, I asked you guys to, shortly after you fill up your stress track, have a scene where you do something non-optimal, kind of crazy, dangerous, something maybe you wouldn't otherwise have done. Show the stress pushing you past your comfort zone, so to speak. But anyways, nobody's there yet. We end up with an edge on this. So on an edge, you pull through, but it's going to cost you. And you're both involved in this. So I think what happens is that you pull your way up through there, you successfully get up to the top of this tower, and I imagine there's like because why not? There's a big bell tower that you're up in, and there's still a bell hanging there precariously. And you see Bryn hiding in sort of the shadows, looking down on where Tyler and Sarah are. And Sarah's, having a theological discussion with him. And he's spouting out some satanic craziness. And you guys come up, but just as you're like, creeping up on him, one of these a board cracks really loudly, and he spins around, and he's got a long bloody knife in his hand, and let's say he's completely naked now, and he's completely covered in blood, and there's a crazy look to his eyes, of course, and he's going to come at you, Malcolm, with this knife. What are you gonna do?
I am going to. Okay, he's coming at me with a knife. I'm going to charge him, and hopefully that maneuver is so like surprising. I can sort of like grab my arms around him, and carry him with my momentum.
Okay, sounds good. So I believe this is you're not trying to kill him. You're trying to incapacitate or hold him, grapple him. Is that right?
Uh, let's see
Or
if
you want to
Malcolm
kill him?
remembers.
Or you both.
Let's see if Malcolm remembers that.
Okay. All right. This sounds like finally turning to violence. So let me recall and shuffle. All right. So turning to violence. Do you think any of the equipment you got from the armory is helping you here in what you're doing?
The body armor should at least protect me from his knife.
Yeah, and I think certainly, and I think maybe it gives you more bulk or more impact with what you're doing here. So I'll give you that +1 for the armory. So you're going to draw with savagery. You're going to add 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think any of the characters have all kind of set themselves up where you can help on this too if needed.
Well, let's see what he gets.
Yeah. So
All
draw
right.
4 cards, Malcolm, when you're ready. Well, never mind. You got a triumph on the first card. So on turn to violence, there's a pick list. So you got a triumph. You get to choose 3 from the list. So the thing you don't choose will come to happen. So basically, whenever you do turning to violence, unless you choose resist marking stress, you're going to gain a point of stress. Whenever you get into violence, you're gonna take harm, and your opponent's going to take harm. But you can pick the one where it does terrible harm, or you can pick the one where you suffer very little harm. And then there's avoid collateral damage. So you get to choose 3 of those, Matthew.
So the problem here now, guys, is that it's not really about what I get to pick. It's what I avoid happening. So like,
Right.
it's just I'll take one for the team and suffer little harm. But the problem is that means I inflict terrible harm, resist marking stress, and avoid collateral damage.
I would say it would be totally appropriate if you inflicted terrible harm, suffered little harm, and resisted marking stress, and kicked him straight off that thing, right?
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, so the one you're not going to choose is the collateral.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to suffer little harm. He scratches you with a knife, but it's nothing serious, nothing you need to worry about. Okay? Even with your armor, probably is nothing. His knife, bends off of your armor, and you're okay. So you're going to inflict terrible harm. This is again part of why I was asking you what your intent was with your violence. Are you trying to kill him, knock him out? What's your intention? What's Malcolm's intention in this moment, you think?
Out the window.
I think he just wants
Or
to
just
take
knock him out the window?
So he's preaching. He turns around, and then Malcolm just knocks him straight through the window, and hopefully he falls to the ground from how many stories, and there's a nice wet splat on the ground.
Yeah.
Unless more magic happens.
Okay. Malcolm goes with him.
Yeah, and you do it coolly. It doesn't even bother you. Killing someone, just another day at the office, right? But the collateral damage does happen. So I think what happens, you run up, you knock him off. He goes flying, splats on the ground in front of Sarah and Tyler. He starts to say something. It is, is gargling blood as he tries to say something, and he expires and dies. But then there's the fire swirls, it starts to whoosh, and it's like a tornado of fire builds up, and it comes crashing, focused on that tower where you guys just were, and this fire starts to swirl around this tower that Emilio and Malcolm are in. I need you guys to avert disaster to get out of this tower before you're consumed by fire from beyond. So let's have Emilio do this one. You're leading the way back down as quickly as you guys can. Emilio, draw survival, and let's see how you and Malcolm do in getting out of here.
Cool. I can draw 2 cards. Do-do-do-do. Miss. Do-do-do-do. Miss.
Yes, it is. All right, Malcolm, do you want to assist?
Can
Or
I
anybody
assist?
else? Yeah, if you can
Yeah.
reasonably think of how you
Well,
might help, sure, Tyler.
I think that's me running back in to try and help. Like, or at least like like yelling at the door or being there to
Right,
grab
right.
her grab him when he stumbles, kind of thing.
Right.
So I'll mark a stress, and you can draw another
Mark a
one.
stress. You can draw another one. Only one person can help those for what it's worth. So go ahead and draw one more, Emilio.
Do-do-do-do. Edge.
Edge. All right, good job.
Yeah.
You pull through, but it's going to cost you. I'm going to say that you pull through, but maybe Malcolm's the last one out. And Malcolm, a board comes down and it's going to break your foot. It's going to break your right foot. Okay. So you have a broken foot. It's going to slow you down. It's not going to, if a zombie's after you, it might make it more dangerous, but it's not going to kill you or anything. But you pull out of this, and this tower is consumed by swirling fire. The fire, like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, then flies up into the air, and the clouds dissipate, and it's a clear afternoon day in Colorado. And that's where we'll stop for today. Go ahead. What'd you have?
I was just wondering if the followers were still there or not.
We'll find out next time.
Okay.
All right, that was good. Any questions, thoughts, concerns?
No, that was fun.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Go ahead, Will.
I just wanted to suggest that mine is a coal mine, so that there's like the fire was. They set fire to part of the coal mine, right? And like that fire in the sky was like burning embers and things from this as a possible, you know what I mean? Like you could interpret it both ways, but the TV audience can see
this. Is this Scully and Mulder kind of thing?
Yeah.
No.
Is this a Centralia thing?
It's also, it means like the ground is warm and devoid of snow.
Yeah.
Underground coal seam is on fire.
I think maybe Tyler believes that, but Sarah knows otherwise, right? I mean, you definitely felt something. You had a spiritual awakening in this moment for sure. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much. I will see you next Sunday, and we will see where it goes. I think in many ways you kind of finished the story, but we did plant some seeds of maybe some other problems back at the Enclave. So
it would be interesting to do some of the Enclave's like scarcities and stuff as well. Sure. We dealt with the big drama. Now let's see if we can survive, kind of thing.
Sure.
I'm also intrigued by the fact that we left the place, and when we come back, who knows how they feel about our absence.
Also,
right.
It's overrun by zombies.
Right. You left your NPCs to try to fix the problem. Let's see how they did.
Yeah, maybe they're all zombies now. We've come home to zombies.
Yeah. All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Yeah.